to the Cinementalists. Noun, plural. Definition, those whose love for movies runs so deep, they can't help but do a podcast about them. Hosted by Colton Robertson and Joseph George. Hello everybody and welcome in to the Cinementalists, where today we continue our celebration of Pride Month with Saving Face. It originally premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival, or TIFF, on September 12th, 2004, written and directed for the screen by Alice Wu. I'm Colton Robertson. I'm joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you, and I was so excited to show you another gay movie. Mm-hmm. I love these things. Can't get enough of them. I genuinely fell in love with this movie. I think it was last year was the first time I watched it. And so I had the benefit of having watched Twin Peaks, so I'm deeply enamored by Joan Chen, and Dee Dee had came out the year prior, and I thought that she should have been nominated for an Oscar for it. So then I just went back and dove into some other work of hers, and this was one of the things towards the top of the list. God damn, is this a good movie? How'd you feel on your first viewing?
Yeah, this was kind of what more I think I expected with, not that, but I'm a Cheerleader was like not what I was expecting last month, but this is kind of more of a run-of-the-mill movie, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Or kind of the things I was looking for. And yeah, I think, strangely enough, I said, I think on the rating last week, I said, I need a little bit more in a movie for me to truly kind of resonate with it or to kind of feel more. In this one, it has a lot more of that, like way, way more of that, I think. Like a lot more to say. There's a lot more, very real.
There's a lot more going on, yeah.
Yes, but interesting. Like I kind of eat my words a little bit with, but I think it made me realize how much more I enjoyed But I'm a Cheerleader,
right.
Because like this is a really, really good movie, and like I think I do still enjoy it more than But I'm a Cheerleader. But it's like it wasn't. It just kind of surprised me that like I don't think I think I want to backpedal that a little bit. That I don't think a movie needs to quite actually go quite further. That was actually a lot more enjoyable than I once thought. So that was just kind of a But I'm a Cheerleader tangent to clear up from last week.
That's okay. I mean, that is the only movie we have for reference so far this month, as we've celebrated Pride Month so far. So yeah, I can't blame you for going to that one-to-one comparison there. You're right about this being much more down the middle, is how I'd describe it. I do think that the sort of stereotypical formatting of the delayed gratification of a romance film where it's like, oh, they meet, they fall in love, there's obvious issues that are going to tear them apart. Now, the thing that this movie does that a lot of movies that feature gay couples do not, is it has a happy ending. A lot of movies with queer couples do not work out. I started this movie last night with Emily, and she goes, is this going to be a sad one? Like that was kind of because notoriously films specifically about lesbians end up tragic in some capacity. It's either, and you don't really know what kind of movie you're getting into. You don't necessarily like whenever the ending does come about and it is happy and it's like, oh yeah, here we are. Everything worked out. You're kind of like, oh, okay, fuck yeah. Like it wouldn't have been super surprising for it to have taken a dark turn where some sort of tragedy befalls them and they either can't be together or they refuse to be together or something along those lines. And so I appreciate that it doesn't kill their gays, thinking back to one of the most recent debacles in a show with no problems I have otherwise, basically, like Andor. And I'm not going to spoil anything too harshly, but goddamn, what a terrible choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's or a terrible way of going about it. I don't even know. But regardless, like, I just love that this movie ends up being down the middle, and you don't really expect it to be, and that almost makes it subversive in its efforts by being straightforward, which is strange. I don't know. I really like that about it, though.
Yeah, it's just I think going to the Chinese family kind of stereotype as well just makes this point so much stronger. Like we watched But I'm a Cheerleader, and there's a bunch of different, ethnicities, much different family types in there.
Yeah,
but I think
cultural.
like, from Asia, it is kind of very black and white on how their family feels, and they will tell you straight to your face.
Yeah.
There's no games being played. It's very clear. And I think like the father played the very stereotypical role, of you've brought dishonor, and I'm going to be so embarrassed. Everyone's going to laugh at me.
It's like,
but
what
then
a fucking...
but then at the end, though, and he's like, I'm going to be there every day once the baby's born, though.
No, he still has love.
He's still like, ooh, I'm going to teach that baby right, which is still like, you could have said that better, but like, he's saying that just so he can be there every day.
Well, and I really, really appreciate this movie's depiction of unconditional love. I think that because it on paper it is presented with all sorts of conditions. You know what I'm saying? And then things happen, life happens, tragedy strikes, and you realize what's important, and you go, "Oh, I want my daughter in my life. Oh, I want my grandkid in my life." Like you look at those things and you go, that's actually what's important. The scene where Will's grandma dies happens right off of the scene where she says, like, the line right before we learn Will's grandma dies is, "Maybe I shouldn't be your daughter then." So in a matter of 2 minutes, in a matter of 2 minutes on screen, Joan Chen's character loses a daughter and a mother. You know what I'm saying? Like, and is all of a sudden more alone than she's ever been in her life, even though she is pregnant. And, like there's nothing for her. And, it takes her a second to wrap back around, but she does ultimately. They get in the car and, she's like, she seems nice, like, and she has so much of her father in her, that the dishonor side of things it weighs on her too heavily, or so heavily that she kind of says things she doesn't even believe.
Yeah.
I love ultimately the resolution of the movie is incredibly fulfilling and moves me to tears. I love the end of the movie. It gets me every time.
Yeah, I was yelling at the end there, kind of like whenever they were breaking up, and I'm just like, what? Like I know you're not going to go to lunch, you're not just going to throw your family away. Like I don't, I'm not.
Yeah, you're not going to leave your mom who's about to have a kid and all this and just go to Paris. Yeah, like that's just not going to happen.
I knew that, but I'm like, at least tell her you don't want her to go, at least be sad, show some emotion, or like give her some more, which is kind of all she was wanting.
That's all she ever wanted was proof, basically, like whenever she shows up on her birthday, way too late. And, she's like, "Can I come in?" And she goes, "I don't know." And she goes, "Okay." And then walks away. She's like, "No,
what?" She's like,
"Get your ass back here. That is not at all how this works." And I love that Lynn is the actress. Vivian is the character. Has a chance to teach her, kind of the way to be in a relationship. And I love the amount of like crossover and kind of subliminal messaging where Vivian has a lot in common with Will's mom, and Will has a lot in common with Vivian's dad, which I think is so funny. Like they are basically falling in love with their parents.
Okay, yeah.
Which is a funny dynamic, like at the end they show Joan Chen's character bonding with Vivian, and they've got similar tastes and they've got similar ideas, and I love that both their moms set it up even, which I think is a lot of fun. I love that. And it goes a long way to redeem Joan Chen's character there at the end, because it's not that she strictly needs redemption, because humans have a lot of facets and there's all sorts of stuff that, but that shows that she's an active participant in trying to help her daughter find her way back to the woman she loves, instead of just being like, I accept that you're gay. Being like, you're gay and let me help. Mm-hmm. let me help make this happen for you because you are not doing it good enough on your own.
Yeah, I was trying to think of another. I guess I don't have too many romance movies under my belt, but a kind of a queer romance movie. I feel like the parents are involved, but only in the way to show how it's tearing up the family or how
it's typically it's very negative.
Mm-hmm. But this kind of having two love stories go side by side together, where you don't even know who the other love is. I think which is really funny. I thought. Like I had the thought that it was like the old guy kind of I'm like, what if it's that old fucker? I don't know why. I'm
that
like,
old
who's the father?
Guy.
Like who's the father? And then like, the daughter reads the note. She thinks, oh my God, the age difference. And I'm like, yes. I'm like, no way. And then so I get duped.
I'm on to them.
Yeah, and then so I got full. I'm like, wait, what? So I didn't actually see the young guy coming.
No, and there's actually so much great little foreshadowing, like little stuff where, whenever he sees her on the tracks, and he like gives her medicine for her mom, and she's like, I just want to make sure she's okay. Like, here you go. Say hi to your mom for me. Da, 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 da.
Yeah,
like he is repeatedly there. They even cross paths, Joan Chen's character and him at one point, and he tells him, say hi to your father for me. Da, da, da,
my God.
There's a couple little moments.
The mom's not trying to set her up with it. It's like set her daughter up. She's just trying to get her daughter to feel more familiar and comfortable with her.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's insane. Yes. It's like, oh, what? You're waiting on me now? Like, oh, yep. Have to make sure you get on the train or whatever. And it's like, okay. Now wow, that's making sense. I guess I didn't think of that until now.
There's just a lot of it's very fruitful on rewatch for that reason, and I think this was only my second viewing of the film. Like it wasn't. I'm not super overly familiar with this movie to the point that I remembered it having a happy ending. But we get towards the end of the movie, and I kind of, whenever she like runs out of the ceremony, and doesn't say anything to anybody, I was like, for some reason in my head, I was like, I thought she like ran away with him. What's going on? Like what? Wait, does this movie not end as happy as I remember? Like she gets on the plane and she leaves, and I'm like, wait a minute, what? Like I'm like, do I just completely misremember? And no, I was skipping to the ending, the ending. I love that it manages to keep you on your toes, even though it does ultimately follow a very simple structure, and a innumerably done structure. Like it's been done so much, and it manages to do it about as good as I've ever seen it. And I appreciate that. Alice Wu is not a super prolific filmmaker. She only pops out every, like once a decade basically and makes a movie, and that's that. Her most recent one was 2020, and I think that she only made one movie between Saving Face and that one, which was called The Half of It. So like 3 movies in 15 years or something like that, which is not a lot, but I appreciate that she had the wherewithal to recognize, again, going back to that sort of the tragedy that befalls queer characters all too often, to go, we don't need another sad story here. Where is the queer down the middle rom-com? You know what I'm saying? And this isn't just a rom-com, but it's structured a lot like one, and it is very funny, and it has a lot of beats that make you laugh. But it's structured a lot like a typical romantic comedy. They have the third act falling out, and they find their way back together, and there's this invisible wall that the characters are putting up, not letting themselves fall in love with one another. Like that's classic romantic comedy stuff, and I think that it convinces you it's not that. And that takes a really good movie, I think, to make you think of it as higher. And I don't want to dismiss the typical rom-com or typical romance movie as lesser, because it's not. It can be done really well, but this is a really, really good example of how well it can be done,
Yeah. Yeah, it did feel, it's weird to say that it does feel very normal, and I do think that is largely a point they're going for. Like at the end, whenever some of the family members leave, but most people stay. Kind of at the end, and then
whenever they're kissing
genuine.
and dancing in the middle of the dance floor,
yes,
and everybody they do that aerial shot where everybody's dancing around them like nothing's happening. Yes. I can't tell you how full that made my heart. Like that is just such a good shot and like her Vivian in the airport being like, "Kiss me" in front of all these people, and her not being able to do it. I love that. And, obviously, would I have rather they had those 3 months? Would they have rather had those 3 months? I'm sure. But to kiss her in front of the people that matter, I think is more important.
Yes. Made it so much better. I was like, that was another scream at the TV of like, come on, you
let's fucking go.
You got all the way here. You're at the airport. She's right there. So I was a little mad at the no kiss, but and then I kind of felt like, okay, well, it's gotta happen, right? And at one point I'm like, okay, well, maybe. All this was between Vivian and her was just a way that her and her mother can come to terms that she was gay, and that like, okay, I'm not going to set you up with guys anymore, that this is like our life now. We're going to continue on. I thought, her and Vivian, I thought she was truly, going to go off to Paris 4 years, find someone else, whatever, and just they'll be happy. It's La La Land, maybe,
Yeah, definitely. That's situation. Especially if you watch La La Land before you watch this. That's exactly where your head is. Like that, it precisely where my head was.
I am traumatized by La La Land. Any romantic movie whatsoever, I am going to believe that it will not work out.
It's not going to end up good.
Yeah, so a little maybe downer of me a little bit, but I guess that's at least where my mind was going whenever she did take off, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe it is just a way for her and her mother to get closer. But then whenever she sees her across the dance floor and it's nothing else matters, it's like, it's these cliches, but I'm like, yeah, this is what I live for in a movie moment. This is what I want. And then that aerial shot when the kids like run through and like you hear, it's kind of like, I don't know if it's slow-mo, but kind of like it's the sound is definitely like, they're overplaying kind of. You're hearing everything at once, but I don't know, different layers. And like the kids' laughter, I feel like was layered a little differently, so you heard it a little more. And I think it was just kind of like a, like this is the next generation. Obviously the old people left that couldn't handle it, whatever, that way's dying, and they say the world's getting worse, blah, 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 it's getting worse every year. But then you see that last shot, and you're like, no, like this is
how can more love be worse?
Yeah.
Like that's just fundamentally, I love it for that reason, man. And I whenever that ending does come around and even grandpa is there going, well, I'm going to be around every day for that baby because who knows what'll happen if I let you two raise it, but like that is him going, I want to be here. I want to be around you. And they're at a party with tons of people in their family, like that's not just a private event. That's just a few of them, And I love that. It's just it's sweet that this movie depicts a very real aspect of how difficult it can be for some people to accept sexuality in that manner. But taking it a step further and going, but here's what it looks like on the other side. Once you do just go, can't do anything about it. That's just the way it is, like whenever she does officially come out to her mom and go, I love you and I'm gay. And Joan Chen's character says, how can you say those two things back to back? How could you tell me you love me and throw that in my face? I am not a bad mother. You are not gay. There's just such an obvious argument to that sentiment. But if somebody has that sentiment, there is no argument that's going to sway them. You know what I'm saying? Like it does unfortunately take something as massive as your fucking mom dying. It takes something. It takes something that makes you realize what's important to go, oh yeah, this is my daughter we're talking about. I should accept her unabashedly. I should accept her for who she is. Da 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 da.
Yeah, And I think that answer that she's saying, like, how can you say those two things back to back? That she's uttering her parents' words there, I think, like,
Oh, very
maybe
specifically.
50-50. Maybe not quite 50, but like, she's the in-between generation where I don't think she was ever truly gay, or like, I don't think that's the battle she was struggling with, I don't know. Maybe because there was that moment at the movie shop, and then I don't know, like, was it just like, ooh, I've never been allowed to watch these movies.
I think it's just the taboo sort of aspect of it, like and again, like, even if you're not exploring your sexuality with like the same sex, it opening yourself up to the exploration of sexuality, be it pornography or otherwise. I think that those are important steps in the right direction for her. Ironically, she's never had that freedom. She's never felt like she can, and so she feels like if there's a time, it's now. And she even says that much. Whenever she was like, "Why didn't you just be with him?" What was sure they would have talked, but why? She was like, "Well, I've never been single before."
Yeah,
she's like, "I've never been single before. I might as well see what's out there." I really appreciated that aspect of it. And You going back to like how it was like 50-50, it was her parents talking, but also her, and it takes her dad kind of looking at her and going, "You cannot be with him." Like that is, I won't let that happen for her to be like, "Oh, that's stupid as fuck." Oh, that's what I sound like. Damn, and sometimes you need to be put in perspective like that. And I really appreciated that.
Like the like party that we saw at the beginning, or kind of like, I don't know what the gathering necessarily was for. Just the kind of dance they had. Like, it was family and then like some friends, but like you could just tell
community.
They had their very still closed circle though. That like these are the only people they saw. They're all the same.
Yeah.
They all have
Is it
the same
somebody in our
values.
circle?
And like so. There's differences between them, but most, I don't know, they all kind of have the same like hive mind of sorts. They don't have any kind of external factors, it seems. And then this, the mere, oh my God, an age gap where it's older or younger, it's bad. Oh, you're pregnant without being married, that's automatically bad. You're gay, that's even worse. We don't even speak of that. So it's like, I mean, there's all of these kind of pressures immediately, but then that dance at the end, it's largely the same people, but it feels entirely different. Like, I mean, it's like there is just a like every interaction is not, I don't know, for saving face. Like, I think, it is for just they're there because they want to be there. And it felt a lot more genuine at the end. And I think that's all the barriers were down, like at the wedding, it seems like everyone's crashing out. And then it's like, you want the divorce me right now. And it's like, no, I love you. I love you too, you fucking
idiot.
pig.
I love you. Dog fart. I love you.
Like, so it's like, I don't, it was a train wreck of sorts, but kind of like a necessary one just to get the family to loosen up a little bit. It felt like so.
Like we've done so much to try to maintain our reputation that we've forgotten who we actually are. Like, or maybe we don't forget who we actually are, but we certainly don't show it to people. And at what point does that face become yours? So whenever it comes to this aspect of like Chinese culture, and I mean every aspect of Chinese culture, I only gather it from movies. I'm not well studied. I'm obvious. I mean, you're listening in audio format. I'm not Chinese. So there's the only knowledge I've ever gleaned from movies about, maintenance of reputation and, the kind of generational trauma instilled from one generation to the next via that is movies. And one that I go to that we covered just earlier this year where it was about what will they think, oh, we can't let them see because what will they say, was In the Mood for Love. Thinking back to Tony Leung and Maggie Cheung's characters in that movie where, again, you're dealing with obviously a little bit more similar to the Joan Chen younger guy scenario than the queer scenario. But that's what makes it all level out, though, is the forbidden, the taboo, you're not allowed to. There is no difference. There's levels to this shit, but at what point do you go, there is no difference between those things? It's all just loving each other, so why fucking care?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I used to think I had everything figured out back when I was in major scientific brain mode and facts were the only thing I cared about. But, now I think I was so close-minded myself that I'm like, oh yeah, no, I know who I am. My thoughts are never going to change. So like, I understand there's other thoughts out there, but like I've got my mind made up. And then now seeing how different of a person I am within just a couple years, and then every year after that it changes, and then so I feel like I thought I was an open-minded person before. I actually do believe I am one now, but with hopes of only still being
opening more.
Yes, and never being absolute, but I think that's kind of like where just this you see it through the generations of this family sort of thing, where you do have the grandparents that are very stern. They're speaking as kind of, at least my grandparents, even in today's, this is not an old movie. I think that that what's being said here is still very, very pertinent, and sadly probably will be for quite some time to come. But yeah, it's like the grandparents. Man, I like it's crazy to think of like some of the things my grandparents say out loud, like still to this day. And it's like, and they're getting better, but it's so much harder for them because like that's just the world they grew up in. And
it's just been so ingrained in them. Yeah. Well, and then the thing that hurts is seeing so many people adapt so easily. You know what I'm saying? Is like, oh, it isn't that hard. You know what I'm saying? Like it isn't that difficult. So like that is, and I'm always gonna, and I'm not saying this is something everybody should do. It's not something that everyone should make exceptions for. I'm always gonna cut my grandparents, the people I love. I'm gonna cut them a little slack. You know what I'm saying? Even friends to a degree. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like every once in a while, someone will say something. I'm like, God damn, you need to shut the fuck up. I'm like, no, let's walk that back and let's figure out what. So that is the difference, though, is that generationally, I feel more capable of changing someone now's mind than someone who is my grandparents' age's mind. Yeah. Like that is the fundamental difference. Like my grandparents says something, I'm going to go, damn. Friend says something, I'm going to go, shut the fuck up. Yeah, there's a difference. And I one of the speaking of friends, one of the best and most underrated characters in this movie is Will's gay best friend, the black guy next door. Love that guy.
Yeah, he was the like cucumber, or not the cucumber, the whatever that face mask is that you always put cucumbers on your eyes with. What is that stuff though? That green like mud or green
the clay the clay mask.
But he's just chilling
Jay,
with that.
What's his name?
Jay, coming out. He's a lumpy one or something.
Holy shit!
What?
That's Otto Asando, who I had no idea that's who it was, just because this is far and away the youngest I've ever seen him. You ever seen that clip of that guy going, Jesus Christ, it's Jason Bourne?
No,
that's him.
Way.
Yeah, that's him.
What? Okay, that's kind of crazy. That is
Jesus Christ, it's Jason Bourne. Yeah.
It's Jesus Christ, it's Jay, but not actually.
Jesus Christ, it's Otto Asando. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
No, I love him in this though. Like he is a really, really fun aspect of the movie, and just again a really human presence. He's someone who Will can confide in, and call her on her bullshit a little bit every once in a while. Be like, you're fucking up, right? And she's like, yeah, and he's like, okay, good. Like just a little bit like, just thought I'd let you know. Whenever Joan Chen's character is talking shit at the dinner table, and about the soy sauce, and he's like, we should keep her. It's so funny, man. I love that character and his presence. Another character that I really like is Randy. That's the hospital associate of Will's, who's just kind of, an older character who, I mean, I'm just going off of my previous understanding of the actress Jessica Hecht. She plays Susan in Friends, who is also gay. Carol's gay lover, Ross's ex-wife's gay wife. That. So I'm like, I wonder if, like, text to text, the connection I'm making is that she is an older lesbian, like, and therefore she is living the life that Will is going to live, kind of. The interaction between Vivian's mom and dad at the end of the movie where, she just started doing this dancing thing, and he's like, thank God she's marrying a doctor, like, they're getting married. That's so cute. Just little lines like that. That makes me so happy. I love this movie.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, like Vivian's dad, whenever she pulls Will into his office and is like, all right, all right, well, I get what's going on here. Off the looks they just gave each other, he's like, oh, really? He's like, okay, well, you're the reason.
Like, well, obviously I'm very smart, obviously I know stuff. And you guys, she shows up, you guys look at each other, that's enough for me. Okay. I know for a fact what's happening. Well, and not to mention that Vivian is much more open, I take it, about her sexuality. Her mom is obviously very supportive, doesn't have any qualms about it. Maybe her dad, I don't take it that her dad does either, but she's obviously not like, hey, I'm fucking one of the doctors at your office, so like there is a line there. But the second they lock eyes, he's like, oh, duh. And then he makes like that vague threat, but it's not really a threat, it's just enough. He's like, so you're the reason. Just want to make it clear that you're the reason. Yeah,
he does ask that first. So it was out of a good place first, like, do you love her? And then she didn't even answer. And before he was like, okay, well, if she doesn't go to London, she's not going to find her true self, or like see what her full talents are. And
right.
So it's like, okay. It's like, yeah, he was at least cool with her being, I think he's okay with it. Maybe.
No, yeah, I don't think he has beef with the queerness of it all, no.
Yeah, but
I think he has beef with the idea that she needs to be sure that she's somebody Vivian can commit to comfortably if it's something that's going to keep her from reaching her full potential in that world, in that space, as a ballerina. Super disappointed that we don't really get to see her dance. Yeah. I love whenever movies do that. Tick Tick Boom is one I go to, where Alexandra Shipp is a dancer, and she's got great aspirations, but she doesn't do it for the money. She just loves it, and and we get to see her do it. I would have loved to have seen Vivian dance. That's maybe one of the only qualms I actually have with the movie.
That's when the 3 month later title card was on. I'm like, we're in London. I thought we were there. We were gonna watch her dance, or something like that, and then we'd be back. That's okay.
Yeah.
I thought we'd go to London, or I thought there'd be, because I'm like, okay, I had my cope with Vivian, like, okay, it's just so that her and her mom can get closer, so like maybe her and Vivian are truly done. But I'm like, no, I'm still wanting it. I still need it at the end. But yeah, that would have been nice. We did get a cheer moment. I guess last week. We got the we did stopping the whole show for the cheer. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're the one that I adore. 5, 6, 7, 8. Don't give this up, because this is fate. It's so cute.
Oh, it's so corny. I love it.
Such different movies, completely.
Well, and that's what I love about doing this every June. I know that we've only done it one June so far, but going back to the first. Yeah. The opening month that we did the podcast in the first place was June, and we covered Love Lies Bleeding as a part of it on the anniversary of the Stonewall riots. And looking at the slate of queer films that we have discussed, Love Lies Bleeding, Queer, I Saw the TV Glow, Moonlight, The Handmaiden, what was the other one that we... Portrait of a Lady on Fire. That's, how could I forget? But I'm a Cheerleader, Saving Face. The idea that so many movies that are in this romantic vein and are queer, you would expect, how can we do this fresh so many times? And the fact that all of them are so different and so able to sustain themselves and be completely individual. God, I love that. And that's not going to stop over these next 2 weeks either with The Watermelon Woman and Tu Wong Fu. Those are deeply singular. And I adore them. I adore them.
Yeah, I like it was our Queer Month last month. It was largely representative, I'd say. It was, but it just felt, even though we had two purely, I guess, women-dominated movies, I don't know why, it felt a little bit more men tilted or scaled. I like that it's kind of, we're like purely kind of focusing on the ladies this month, or it feels
well, last year I did I did my best to make a healthy blend of sexualities, because last year I think, what was it, The Handmaiden and Portrait of a Lady on Fire were the bookends of the month, so you did have two lesbian pieces. I saw The TV Glow was a trans piece, and Moonlight and Queer were MLM films. So this year the line is that going into last year, a lot of the queer film I really loved was about lesbians. And I didn't want to be like, every queer film I like is about gay ladies. You know what I'm saying? I like watching women kiss. No, that's not what I want. That's not the idea I want to get across, which is why the last film of this month is not about lesbians either, even though we are spotlighting women filmmakers. I wanted a movie that was queer and directed by a woman that had men in it. I thought that's a really, really delicate balance that doesn't happen a lot. That was really hard to find. And I love Tu Wong Fu, so it was easy to go with that. But that's not a combination that happens a lot. Because you write what you know, you direct what you know, and there's not a lot of queer women or even straight or women in general writing about gay men. That's not going to happen a lot. So I really, really, I wanted to seize that opportunity to kind of share the wealth a little bit.
Yeah. And I think this was you who said this to me. I don't know in what context, but that kind of a forbidden love of any sort, but kind of more in the queer vein, that it's revolutionary. The mere fact of, queerness or kind of going against the trend. It has this revolutionary spirit to it. And I think I'm of the mind that being a woman is more revolutionary than being a man.
It absolutely is.
I'm of the mind, if queens are on the throne the entire time throughout history, and we just had our fun playing with our swords out in the battlefield, but actually I think that's actually what happened in history too. I largely we believe all the kings were doing all this shit, but after seeing Napoleon and how that
iconic phrase, behind every powerful man, that's
100%.
There's some truth in that.
The queens were running the shit the whole time. It's like a Bene Gesserit situation. They know they have it on lock, but they're not going to take the limelight on purpose, so that they can still have it on lock forever. And I still, I think it's a beautiful thing. And I guess back to the revolutionary spirit. It's queerness is already revolutionary. I think being a woman is also more revolutionary. It's just the best of both worlds here. It's such a good, it makes my heart feel so good. And that's my open-mindedness. I used to, if I heard someone that had the opposing view of mine, I'd be like, okay, well, I'm going to tune you out and then counter with my point. I'm not going to really listen to you. I'm just going to tell you what I believe next. But now it's I see beauty in all the differences that we have. If
varying perspectives are lovely.
I can't. In my mind, I think there is a right answer to letting people love each other, and I think love.
Yes,
should just
there
be
is
let
a
be.
fundamental. There is a fundamental freedom being denied if you think otherwise.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
So, but there is someone or many people in the world that truly believe against that. That do think that there are lines in the sand that are there, and I'm very, very young compared to most of these people. Maybe there's something that happens in my life that makes me I don't think so, but then again, I can't say for sure, but man, there's got to be some things that are it seem to be like absolutes, but then I don't know. There's 50% of the population that thinks the other way, and I think that's kind of like
I think that comes down to this idea that human rights are debatable. You know what I'm saying? The idea that certain inalienable rights, which are completely ungovernable, the way we feel.
Yep.
If you seek to control the way someone feels, I don't deal in absolutes often. In absolutes often, you are absolutely fascist. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go, because that's intangible. It's not something you can control, and there's evidence of that time and time and time again. You know what I'm saying? Like the difference between the way I feel about homophobes and the way homophobes feel about gay people is that I don't want to do anything to punish homophobes beyond social othering. I think you should feel ashamed of yourself. Homophobes want gay people to not exist. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like that's wrong. There does come a point where I'm like, yes, nothing is absolute, but even that idea is not absolute. You know what I'm saying? There's some stuff that's just like, you have to be willing to draw a line in the sand, and you have to have your principles. And while you should be open to ideas, the more open-minded you are, the less that applies to you, because you are already open to those ideas, and if you believe in equality, I believe in equality. I always think of that line in Sinners whenever I say the word equality now, which is so funny. Oh, sir, we believe in equality. That delivery always killed me. But if you believe in that, and you believe that, love is love and there's nothing that can change that, if you believe that, gender identity should be, up to the person who's experiencing it, and there's no... If somebody tells me, because again, this is not something I've experienced, I personally have never felt like a woman. I don't believe I'm a woman. There's no aspect of myself that believes I'm a woman. I don't believe that I'm non-binary. But if somebody comes up to me who has been a male friend of mine my entire life and goes, I've been evaluating it, and I realized recently that I am a woman. Go off, queen. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Who the fuck am I to tell you, nah, that can't be true? Like, that's just...
yeah.
Either that can't be true, or you are mentally ill. That's such a vile response to that. That is such a vile response to that. And they love to use it as a means to act like they're empathetic. Like, oh, I just want to help you. No. You do not want to help them. You want to hurt them.
The process. Admit that you're wrong. Admit that you are not normal. Immediately alienating someone, for feeling a certain way. I can.
Which I know I'm obviously translating a lot of this to the modern othering of trans people, which is, 20 years ago, that wasn't even close to being on the horizon. Even though trans people have existed for a very long time,
yes,
they weren't the hot topic of discussion until the last 5, 6, 7 years.
That pattern, like the Greeks, like I don't know, this is not a new thing whatsoever. I wonder if it's truly just the medical capabilities we have now. If that's like what's re-sparked this, or if it's just the state of our country. I don't know. We just want to fight over anything. But like I wonder why it is like such a it feels like people do think it is a new issue, or a very, very it's only this last, in our lifetime that this has been a thing. But
it's just moronic. And that's just not allowing yourself to be open to understanding, and the fundamentally, the language that I cannot agree with is the idea that people think it's being forced onto them. Because
yeah, drinking water turning the frogs gay. I did drink water, and that is how I became gay.
Look at me! Look at me!
Sorry.
I did. I drank fluoride, and now look at me. I want to suck cock. You know? No, so the thing that's crazy to me is, and this is nothing new. There's nothing new about what I'm saying. Anybody with a decent moral compass has already thought this. If it doesn't affect you, why the fuck do you care? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Oh, it affects the children. It affects the future. Fuck yourself. No, it doesn't. There have been trans people forever, and now they are only comfortable, even slightly comfortable, coming out because they have the slightest bit of support. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is a glimmer of hope that they will be accepted, where that door shut very fast. There was a incredible clip I saw that was it was Alan Cumming and somebody else, and they were talking about how dangerous it is to be queer now. And Alan Cumming was making the argument that, like, we've made such leaps and such progress. Are you telling me you don't feel accepted? And and whoever he was talking to, I wish for the life of me I could remember who he was talking to, but he said they were just tricking us. You know, they lulled us out into the open, and now here they go. You know, and I don't believe that. I think that there might be some truth to that in the Republican conservative idea of it, where there was such a open acceptance to it that now there is this really, really loud contingent that is just overwhelmingly hateful. And I don't believe that most people are like that. I don't. I think that most people, to be honest, either A, are perfectly fine with it, or B, don't care at all. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I think that the amount of people who B, don't care at all is like 60 to 70% of people, you know, and I have no statistic to back that up. I'm just like, the amount of people I know who don't give a flying fuck. It's most of the people I know, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like, oh, yeah, gay people, woo, you know, and that's a few of them, you know. I know, like, I try my best not to know anybody who's like anti-gay people. But most people are like, I don't really care what your pronouns are. I don't give a fuck, you know, like, and it's not that you shouldn't care. I'm not saying that that's the case, but I'd rather you not care than be against it. You know what I'm saying? Because why the fuck does it affect you?
And like, to play devil's advocate, like, to say that you can't have the opposing view feels dangerous, you know, because then are you ostracizing the people that do feel that way? And it's like, in my head, the only right answer to that is, like, you have a religious view that religion purely states in black and white that man and woman shouldn't be together. And, like, if that is truly your belief, then good on. You know, I'm not gonna change your mind because I don't know, that's a faith thing. But, like, even to those religious people, if I just ask them, you know, like, in your heart, you know, I know to say don't care of your God is like blasphemy and whatever, but, like, just in your heart, would you tell someone not to love another? You know, just no pronouns, no anything, you know, like, what gives you the right to tell someone not to love another? And, like, I think that answer is different than just kind of the faith accepted answer. And, like, because, like, I see where the religious angle is coming from. You know, it's been around for quite a long time, but, like, it's just like, and you can't get people to really just be like, okay, I'm just gonna ditch my faith, you know, for this sort of thing. No. But there are many people that, like, I don't, like, there's a New Testament. I don't know, like, the things evolve as time goes on. You know, as the world changes, I think you can you can change with it a little bit.
Well, it's also just being picky choosy. Also, it's like,
yeah,
you didn't have sex before you got married, huh? Okay,
yep.
You know, and some people they don't.
An ounce of alcohol.
You haven't drank alcohol. You haven't drank coffee. You know what I'm saying? Like the profound amount of sins committed every single day by the most devout of Christians.
A singular time. Yeah.
A singular time. And that's the thing too. No sin is worse than any other, baby. No sin is worse than any other. There's not levels to this shit. Literally. According to the Bible, there is not levels to this shit. There just is. That you just sin. And like now, I think there are worse sins, you know, like, but I'm not God, you know, so what gives me the right to think that, you know, so like, again, why do you care?
Like, see how happy this family was at the end whenever everyone was just
it's
like,
fucking beautiful.
We're just letting everyone love who they want to love. It is maybe a little weird, you know, if you wind the clock back and do the age calculator of whenever, you know, one was 18 and one was... But, like, you know, no, that is, like, the only love line in the sand that I can draw, you know, minor and adult, you know, or like that there is a clear, you know, children are children, adults are there is a difference between
that is genuinely the only thing that I'm ever going to be like, ha, you should die, you know, like that's it's one of the only things I am radically against, you know, and it's not radical to be against.
I think maybe my most radical idea of the age number or how to solve that, and like you can't do this in any country or any legal way, but like in my heart it feels that it's like if and this is very dangerous, very slippery slope, but it's like if you just feel that they have reached that level of maturity, like the family feels it, I don't like it, there's just kind of this, you can tell when someone is still a child a little bit, you know. I think there is an age number that is way too low, but then even now there are some like 18, 19, even 20-year-olds that still like, I don't know, they feel still like children and
no,
like it's
yeah,
still
well,
in...
and I don't think that that's just a now thing. I think that's probably just we are finally at the age where we can observe people. Like, I'm in a completely different stage of life than people...
Yes.
Like, Emily's sister and her husband are 27 and 28. They, they have a house. They have plans to make a family. You know, like, that is a year or two away from me, and I am not there. You know what I'm saying? Like, just the idea that... And does that make me a child? No. But... it makes me a hell of a lot younger in heart and mind than them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not there. I'm not ready for that sort of responsibility. And I shouldn't be trusted with that sort of responsibility. Now, don't get me wrong. If I was thrust into that situation, I'm sure I'd do just fine. I'd do everything I could. I'd grow up real fucking fast. But because I don't have to, I won't. You see? And that's, I think that we're at the age now where we can observe, oh, that 22-year-old is a fucking child. Yeah. You know? Yes. And usually it's dudes. Usually 22-year-old men are kids. Just the way of it. You know, like, I even think back to when I was younger. My parents had me so young. You know, like, my parents had me, my mom was 20, my dad was 22. Even by the time I can have conscious thought where my dad was, like, roughly my age, maybe a little older, I am, no disrespect to my father, miles ahead of him maturity-wise at this age than he was. And he's even told me that. He's like, you are just so much more intelligent. You're more mature. You just generally carry yourself like an adult more than I did. And I had you, and I had Q. And like, I was like, damn, Dad. Wow. But like, no. So like, there is levels to the maturity aspect of it, and I love the depiction of his love for Joan Chen in this movie, because it isn't exactly, he's not owning up to it. He's not like, we should be together. This is it. Like, he's not actively pursuing it, but he is giving her space, and he's letting her take her time, and he's letting her decide on her own. And, he understands the cultural significance of what their actions mean and would mean, so like there is a mature level to that, and I really enjoy, and again, like, he's probably mid to late 20s. It's not like he's a kid, but
it didn't feel like
no, she's 48.
Situation going on here. It's good. There was nothing, like, everything, it was socially wrong, maybe for their family, but it never
for
felt
them, but it's above board,
humanly wrong.
It's legal.
This was all good. And and at the end she's like, he asks her like, oh, so you're finally gonna let me move in, right? She's like, hell no. She's like, this is the first time I've lived alone forever. Like, you're not gonna ruin, I'm gonna let that live for a little bit. That was kind of, I don't know, that was pretty funny. It got very serious at points, nice tear ups, nice, like, wells of emotion. And then it's like, oh yeah, no, I'm actually just having a good time too. So it was kind of a,
gorgeous movie also.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
Beautiful to look at. I love that image of her on that, like, a pier, that, like, boardwalk sort of, with the city in the background, meeting her on the bench. God damn, yeah.
Hot dogs, maybe the straightest thing a woman can eat, but it's still so gay the whole time. I think that was just like, I don't know if that was like purposeful, like, what are hot dogs just like, it's just the city food that everyone eats. I don't know. But, like, I think it's just funny. I don't know why. Like, a banana and a hot dog, it's just a dick.
Yeah, phallic foods are funny. Yeah, phallic foods are just objectively funny.
It's just
corn dog, popsicles.
Yeah, I'll never grow up. I will never grow up in that aspect.
No, have you ever seen the movie Horrible Bosses?
No, I don't think so.
Possibly the least gay movie ever made. It's Jason Bateman, Charlie Day, Jason Sudeikis. And there's a scene in the movie where they're staking out their bosses with the intentions of killing them. They're staking out each other's bosses. And going, well, there's no motive that can tie them back to us because, it's each other's bosses.
Okay, wow.
It's smart, you see. But he is staking out Jennifer Aniston. Jason Sudeikis is. He's staking out Jennifer Aniston, who is just obviously a drop-dead gorgeous woman. And he's like, so I'm watching her through the window, right? And she eats a popsicle and then a banana and then a corn dog. In that order, in reverse, that's asking me to come inside. He's like, so yeah, we fucked. So now he can't kill her because they had sex, and now he has motive.
Maybe
So
okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I misspoke. It's not like the straightest thing you can eat. It's just like some of the horniest foods you can eat, even if you are pure
obviously
lesbian.
phallic.
I don't know. It's like it's just how it is. I don't make the rules. You can't eat a banana. Normally I've never, like, to this, even if I'm alone, no one is around at all, every time I eat a banana the thought crosses my mind, like, it's never not going to. I don't think, just like farts will always be funny. It's like it is written in stone, these things. But yeah, I thought, I don't know, just a weird, like, they always had a hot dog, and then, like, she, like, at the end, he's like, yeah, your hot dog got cold, fed it to the birds.
There are dudes who think it's gay to drink through a straw.
Wait. Because you're just sucking on a very small phallic-shaped object. So when you go to McDonald's and you get a Coke, they open the lid?
They take the fucking lid off.
Kidding.
Yeah.
This is
No,
real?
that's a real thing. This is a real thing.
No. What the?
Yeah, I've actually, so working in a restaurant, I've actually gotten to observe this a little bit, and it's a generational thing.
Wow.
For sure. There comes a point whenever dudes of a certain age will not drink stuff out of a straw.
Wow.
And it's just because they were taught, you don't drink shit out of a straw.
That's insane. I mean, like,
no,
there's legitimate math behind the McDonald's straw. Like, it is that size so that the Coke tastes the best that it possibly can. And
McDonald's straws are the shit,
yes,
by the way.
Like,
I don't know that there's any innocuous object that has ever made me more nostalgic on sight than the straw that has the yellow stripe and the red stripe down the side. I don't know what it is. I'm just like, this makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Now that's advertising. That's perfecting the art of advertisement and branding. I know that I've fallen victim to capital, you know what I'm saying? But I can't help but feel nostalgia in this regard.
It's actually just you are gay for the straw. You know, that is,
that too,
gay.
but
that's a crazy, I don't know, maybe I've just never been exposed to that idea that just a straw is gay. That's hilarious, just not
how
manly,
the fuck were,
maybe.
How the fuck are you drinking out of the straw if it's gay? You know, like I'm over here just like, I'm touching my lips to the lid. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like all the way down, all the way down the straw.
Yeah.
Just
yeah. I mean, there are more gay ways to drink out of a straw, I think. If you grab it with, and then have your other 3 fingers, if you just grab it with like your pointer and thumb, and do the little, if you do that, like, yeah, that's not the straightest way to drink out of, but like, but what just in general, you touch your lips to a straw, gay. I think that's hilarious. That's actually like
one of the first times I realized I wasn't straight. I was in a car. I was in a car with my mom and like four dudes who we were taking to, like, I think it was like Nerf War freshman year. It was like,
let's go. Yeah.
It was like Ethan, Brody, Malik, a couple other people that were in the back of the car. And I don't know how it came up, but it was about like, it was a gay test, like how to see if you were gay, do you do this, and my mom goes, okay, try this. Are your nails dirty? And we all looked at our nails.
Oh no.
We all looked at our nails, and if you make like the fist and you look at them like that, like where you put your fingers to your palm.
Oh, okay.
You put your fingers to your palm and you look at them like that, you're straight. You're not gay. But if you hold your hand straight out and straight up and look at the back of your hand, that makes you gay. And that was my instinct. Everyone else put their fucking fingers to their palm. And I went, nah. Forget about it. Now I'm not saying that that's a foolproof method. Foolproof method. But none of those other guys have come out in any capacity as queer. And I am. You know what I'm saying?
I did hit the back of the hand. You didn't even. I thought it was, if they're clean, you're gay. If they're dirty, you're straight. I thought that's where you were going. But as I was,
that's also true.
I think. Yeah, if you just why what the fuck? Why is it gay to just have good hygiene? What is the
it's feminine. You see, it's feminine to be clean.
I hate this. I think it might just be my OCD germophobia brain a little bit, but it's like, to be clean.
No, Joe, it's because
gay.
You're gay.
Yeah.
Joe, it's because you're queer.
All right, whatever. Sorry, I like to have my hands, the things you use the most throughout the day. I like them to be clean, generally. And whenever you touch your face, which you do a lot, I like my hands to be clean. I don't know. It's just maybe a crazy thought, but no, I definitely hit the backwards nail look. Is it not more gay to do the palm? I feel like the kind of closing.
I don't think like either one. I think it also depends on like the orientation in which you do it.
That's true.
Like if your pinky is the furthest down on your palm and your finger, your like pointer finger is like on your thumb, that's a little gay. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a little gay. But so like that was. So like genuinely, I remember she told me that, and I like immediately switched to that, and that's how I did it. Was like
that's a good test right there. That's I don't know, one that really doesn't mean anything, but I don't know. It's a good initial. I think my gay.
It's very funny. At the very least, my mom made me laugh, and I've never forgotten it. So like that's very funny. But yeah, man. Love me some Saving Face. Good movie.
That's true. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I feel like it's just good, maybe some tangent conversations, but that's like, what the movie is. This is what, I don't know.
This is the spirit of the podcast. It is the Cinementalists, because we talk about things just beyond things that, I just talked about a memory. That's sentimental. See, look at that. Look at that. It all comes together.
And that's oh my god, the movie and memory connections. I really need to start this note-taking thing or letterbox integration into this new note thing so I can see all these movie connections. Because, like, I don't know, imagine there's a Matrix connection that I would have never thought of, but it just pops up out of something. Who knows? I don't know how to do this, but I need to figure out how to put all the movies I've seen into this note-taking app and have all my connections between them all. But yeah, this is...
The Matrix and Saving Face are both directed by queer women.
Oh, okay. See?
There you go.
Put a queer tag. That'd be perfect. They both have the queer tag. Boom. A random connection. What? Why? They're both queer. I would not, I always forget the Matrix, every now and then. And because
it's an easy one. It's just kind of implicit.
Yeah.
It's like, of course I love The Matrix, but I rarely regard it as like one of my favorite movies of all time unless I've watched it recently. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is the shit. Yeah.
And then every time I'm reminded of it, I'm like, yeah, no, that, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the queer directors, it's like they're more, you write what you know more. And that's from, is that French Dispatch? Write what you know. Write what you know. No, that is Tick, Tick, Boom.
Tick, Tick, Boom.
Yes.
That's the second Tick, Tick, Boom of the name drop of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
French Dispatch is whatever you write, try to make it sound like you wrote it that way on purpose.
Yeah. Okay. Something was ringing a bell, but not the Tick, Tick, Boom is definitely where that one was coming from. But yeah, it is true. I mean, you can just feel it a little bit. Like it's like a queer stories just kind of shine through in all ways, like a little, like through the camera. I know I'm watching a movie, but then it's like it gets me to go outside of the movie and think of, I don't know, everyone involved. And like, if you're even working on this movie in the first place, you got to be, I don't think anyone working on this is like, oh, I hate the gays and, I'm just doing this for the check. I really, I don't think so. So
yeah, no, there's an inherent solidarity with depicting queer people in a loving capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there are very homophobic depictions of gay people as well,
True.
but
True. And yeah, that gives a whole different feeling to watch the movie. Everyone who signed up for that, knowing what it was. Yeah, that's I guess I watch too many homophobic movies.
Well, you didn't and you didn't watch a lot of movies where the point was to be homophobic, which God forbid anybody ever watches a movie like that.
Yeah.
But a lot of comedies when we were younger are implicitly homophobic.
That's kind of true. Yeah.
It was just kind of a trait that a lot of movies had when we were younger because it was just ingrained in comedy a little bit, was that it was funny to laugh at gay people because they were gay. It was a punchline.
It's just it's like straight people are too easy. Or like you can't really make good jokes. It's like gay people are so expressive and so unique that you can make jokes about them because they have a life and personality to them. And it's like so much easier for punchlines and stuff.
They're alive. Yeah. But, they're alive, you see.
But yeah, that's kind of true. I guess, yeah, I was going to say, scratch our plans for July. We are countering Pride Month with homophobia month. Yeah, or the pure opposite. Month. And then we just blast and make fun of it the whole time.
Yeah.
But
it's actually not a bad idea.
I mean, hey, save it in the back. I don't think we definitely do it like next June. I don't know. If we flip the script and just go pure.
I've been having a lot of great ideas for theme months. Just generally, they always occur to me after we've like established what we're doing the rest of the year, which is always fun.
Darn.
Because we have it nailed down. We are set through December, which is like true. A lot. That's the next 6 months. We are done. We've got it all lined up. So I'm already thinking about what 2027 is going to be, which is hilarious of me. Yeah, I think we can save this conversation for off mic. Thank you for listening to our episode on Saving Face. We are going to go ahead and rate this movie on a scale of 1 to 10. But first, if you would, go ahead and check out Geek With Me And I bring that up because here in just a couple short weeks, House of the Dragon Season 3 begins. And we will be covering that week by week. I know I made a lot of big promises about Daredevil Born Again and Maul, Shadow Lord, but we don't miss Thrones, okay? We don't skimp on that. We've covered every episode of Game of Thrones that has ever hit television. Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, Night of the Seven Kingdoms. We will not be missing out on House of the Dragon Season 3. So Geek With Me is where that will be. Bars. We also have Fire Pod With Me, a Twin Peaks podcast. That is long ended now. But if you've never seen Twin Peaks, which features Joan Chen, there's a connection, baby. Let's go. You should check it out. If you like Joan Chen, I mean, you should absolutely watch that. It is perfect. Speaking of something that has not, some aspects of something that has not aged well, you know, the whole she dresses up in a Asian face at one point. Not Joan Chen, somebody else. I won't give away who, but somebody does.
Yeah.
But something that has aged well, you know, something that has aged well, a trans woman shows up. Dale knows her and is like, your name is this now. Okay, cool. You know, and that's it. She's just her now. You love that. So yeah, Twin Peaks, great. It's also super gay, by the way. Dale Cooper wants to fuck Harry Truman. I know it.
Everyone.
But
he's a pure lover. You know, he's a dreamer and a lover. He's
I'll fuck anything that moves. Yeah. Another Lynch connection there. Blue Velvet, baby. Yeah. So that's what we've got going on otherwise. Next week, we'll be back with The Watermelon Woman. The week after that, Tu Wong Fu. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. And then July is right around the corner, and we've got some fun stuff planned there, but stick around to find out what it is. On a scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling about Saving Face?
Let's see. I gave last week an 8, and I think I would, you know, I guess I have the power to. I'm going to retroactively agree with you and give it the bump. I don't know why I was so harsh on it. I remember it much more fondly. I'm going to just agree with you at an 8.5, and then I'm going to say that I enjoyed this one a wee bit more there. So I think it's either the 8.75 or 9, I think is kind of where I'm landing a little bit right now. I think I'm going to go the 9, though. I think I was.
That's nice. Yeah.
I'm going to go there.
I'm right about there, too. It was 8.75 or 9 range, but I'm a cheerleader. Being an 8.5 kind of automatically locks it into that. I think it's aged incredibly gracefully. I think that it is still as pertinent now as it was then, 20 years ago. I think that Joan Chen is immaculate, an incredible performance. It's a really, really well-performed movie and very naturalistic, you know. But I'm a Cheerleader was very fanciful and satirical, and, you know, this is very down the middle and human, you know. And I think that ultimately pays dividends for it. You know, this movie wouldn't have been as good if it tried the same thing as But I'm a Cheerleader. It's just a completely different kind of movie. And I think ultimately it benefits from it. I'll agree with you. I'll go 9.
Okay, there we are. A good, I guess an average of 8.75 so far on the month. I think I don't know. I have no idea what to expect the next couple weeks, but they do look fun.
The Watermelon Woman I have actually never seen. This is a blind spot. I have no idea what we're getting into. So that is I don't know.
Yeah, that one, it sounds fun on the surface because it sounds superhero-esque, and then it's like not. So yeah, that's I guess that
you never know there.
Yeah,
I expect it'll be serious. You know, I expect it'll be pretty not intense. I don't know. I have no idea what we're getting into. Tu Wong Fu, however, extremely fun. Very, very good movie. And for me, coming into the month, and the 3 of the 4 that I have seen, is my favorite. I love Tu Wong Fu. So we've got that to look forward to. And with that, we will conclude our episode on Saving Face with a 9 out of 10 on the old Cinementalists. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here, homie.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, tell everybody you know every conservative relative, everybody who you'd argue with at a Thanksgiving dinner, look them in the face, go, I love gay people, and fuck ICE.